Are there ways that we can hack into our biology to improve our fitness, mental capacity, physical attributes, and psychological state? The rich are spending millions of dollars to look younger than they actually are, while leaders in the field of biohacking like Dave Asprey are showing biohacks for productivity. Iceman Wim Hof is defying medical logic in the field of thermoregulation. And there are tools that make claims of biohacking to improve your physical fitness. So is biohacking legit? And if so, how can we use it to improve our lives? I'm Sean Hiller. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a certified strength and conditioning specialist. Welcome to the Vulcan blog. And today we are getting into biohacking. Is it legit? Can we actually use it? There is quite a bit of confusion around biohacking, mainly because it is poorly defined. If you Google biohacking, the definition that comes up from Oxford Languages is the activity of exploiting genetic material experimentally without regard to accepted ethical standards or for criminal purposes. What does that even mean? Exploiting experimentally? The truth is, we biohack every day. The food you eat, the creatine you take, the protein powder that you're putting in your shake, the workouts you've done, the sleep that you had last night. Everything that we do is, in a sense, is biohacking. These are all forms of biohacking. You are doing something in your life that will have a direct effect on your biological makeup. But this isn't what we think of when we use the term biohacking. We are probably thinking of something more like this.
Bryan Johnson is the most heavily tested human in history. Bryan became obsessed with Project Blueprint, his self-funded scientific endeavor to, for lack of a better term, live forever. He has adopted an extreme lifestyle where he is aggressively exploring highly experimental treatments and research, all aimed at extending his lifespan into infinity.
And we're probably not thinking about things as much like eating, sleeping, working out. So if we focus on biohacking as we think of it, using tools and aids to improve our bodies beyond the means of the normal everyday activities, is there any research-backed efficacy? And if so, what are they? In this video, we're gonna talk about two of the most proven biohacks that actually work to improve your body. And in a truly mysterious manner, we're gonna save what we consider to be the best for last. And guys, if this video is useful to you, if you like what you're seeing, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on an opportunity to enhance what moves you. So the first method we're gonna discuss, or method number 2 on this video, because number 1's coming later, is the Wim Hof method of thermoregulation.
He's about to take a swim in this lake. The water here is just above freezing, 2 degrees Celsius. Wim intends to stay in for 15 minutes.
Wim Hof, known as the Iceman, has become famous for doing a type of training that to many seems insane. He has a breathing method dubbed the Wim Hof method of breathing.
The breathing how to change the chemistry.
He has almost a cult following of people who live and die by his training methods. The crux of the Wim Hof method revolves around cold water immersion, or really ice water immersion. We owe almost entirely all of ice bath training, or getting into ice baths, even taking a cold shower, to the things that Wim Hof has made popular. But just because it's popular doesn't mean it's a fad that's gonna go away. This is something that has true medical science-backed data behind it. Years ago, the world stumbled across a Dutchman who goes by the name of Iceman. He once held the world record for swimming under ice and prolonged full body contact with ice, and he holds a record for a barefoot half marathon on ice and snow. The science world was stunned that Wim Hof was doing this to the level that he was doing it. So scientists commenced a study on Wim to determine how he was doing it. To discuss this, we have to talk about a basic rule of human biology that Wim seemed to be breaking. There are 2 categories that describe the nervous system in the human body. The somatic nervous system, which is the part of the nervous system that we can control, movement, perceive sensory information, essentially anything you consciously do, you pretty much have control over your somatic nervous system. Then we have the autonomic nervous system, which involves things like thermoregulation, or how your body regulates its internal temperature, and also the immune system of your body. The autonomic nervous system performs its duties subconsciously, so you don't have control over it. Or so we thought. This guy, Iceman, Wim Hof, comes along, and all of a sudden we start to change our thinking a little bit. The study, now we have multiple studies, but the original study performed on Wim Hof broke biological science as we understand it. Wim Hof was in control of his autonomic nervous system, particularly the thermoregulatory center of the autonomic nervous system. He was able to fluctuate his internal body temps up and down at will. We didn't think this was possible. Wim Hof has developed the aptly named Wim Hof method, in which he utilizes extreme cold to challenge his body and through training over time, gained control of his ability to thermoregulate his body. Much like working out over time gives the athlete more control over their somatic nervous system in things like lifting more weight, running faster, or recovering better, this hyper temperature training gives your body a greater control over the autonomic nervous system. And over time, just like in the weight room, over time, you gain control over your thermoregulatory center to varying degrees. It is incredibly inconclusive. Quite frankly, scientists don't really know what's going on or how this method works. Many studies have been performed and different reasons are hypothesized for the results, but one thing remains. Results. It works. And not only are these individuals gaining the power to control their autonomic nervous system to varying degrees, we are also finding that these trained individuals have a greater immune system overall than people who don't train like this. To put it short, they are able to fight off sickness and disease better than the rest of us.
Now I want to take away and show scientifically that depression and all the diseases, almost all the diseases, we are able to learn to prevent them from developing inside the body.
Simply amazing. Iceman Hoff has several courses on how to do this on his website and YouTube. Watching him will make you want to go find the nearest frozen body of water and dive in. The second biohacking method that we're going to talk about, and what we think is actually the #1 biohacking tool that we have today, is blood flow restriction training.
BFR, or blood flow restriction training, utilizes a specialized tourniquet cuff wrapped around the upper portion of the arm or leg. The cuff is inflated to a pressure that reduces blood flowing into the limb by approximately 80% and restricts all of the blood from flowing out. The decreased blood flow results in less oxygen to the limb. Exercising the muscles in this low oxygen state allows the athlete to use very light resistance, yet achieve strength gains similar to exercising under heavy loads or high intensity.
I remember hearing about BFR almost a decade ago now. Some method that was making athletes stronger, more powerful, and improving their aerobic capacity at the same time. Something that to most exercise physiologists was quite difficult to do at any high level. Getting stronger, getting more powerful, and improving your endurance all at the same time was something we really didn't think was possible. Not at any high level at least. The BFR studies also claim that you could increase your overall strength by working out with 1/3 of the weight that you would normally have to. For instance, if your max back squat is 300 pounds, then you would gain exactly the same physical attributes as you would by working with 100 pounds with BFR. That doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, you don't have to work out at higher weight ranges to get the same improvements to your body. Also, BFR claimed to drastically improve VO2 max, which is basically your body's ability to utilize oxygen. Olympic endurance athletes are known to have the highest VO2 maxes in the world, and they train for years to improve their VO2 by 2 or 3%. BFR studies were showing that already elite athletes were improving their VO2 maxes by as much as 13%. That was mind-blowing, so 10 years ago, I dove in and started to check it out. Come to find out, it was all true. There wasn't just 1 or 2 quality studies to show it, but there was mounds and mounds of high-level research and systematic reviews proving that the claims that BFR training was making were true. BFR can make you stronger 67% faster, and BFR could biohack your aerobic conditioning to drastically improve your body's usage of oxygen. In essence, BFR could biohack your body to make you fitter. So how does this work? In a quick summary, BFR is essentially decreasing the amount of venous return you have through your body. So you have the cuffs on, the cuffs are occluding the amount of deoxygenated blood leaving the limb. So your muscles have already used the oxygen in the blood, so now it's deoxygenated, so it's trying to get it back to your lungs so it can reoxygenate. BFR is trapping that deoxygenated blood. It's not able to leave the limb. Arterial blood is still trickling in, but not to the rate that it normally would either. So you have this hypoxic environment, or this deoxygenated environment accumulating in whichever limbs you have occluded. And the result of that is you have this massive increase of type 2 muscle fiber activity. So if you think about what type 2 muscle fibers are, think about your sprinters, your high power athletes. They're big, they're strong, you can just picture the muscles in your mind. Those are exclusively type 2 muscle fiber trained athletes. Your type 1 muscle fiber athletes are more like your aerobic athletes, your marathon runners, your endurance athletes. They're skinnier because their sport requires them to be. It's more advantageous to weigh less. But your power athletes, they've got all the muscle because they need that for their quick outburst of energy. So BFR is able to almost exclusively train those type 2 muscle fibers. But when it does that, the energy cycle that is being used, the anaerobic energy cycles, the byproducts of using those energy cycles when you're doing BFR is lactate and hydrogen. Well, all of a sudden your body can't disperse it because the occlusion, the tourniquet, the blood flow restriction training is preventing all that from leaving the limb. The body responds by sending human growth hormone throughout the body. So because of this uptick in metabolites, the human growth hormone levels in your body spike, and spike far beyond what you could get in a normal workout. Let's say you go to the gym and you do a big, intense workout, you're gonna have a spike in human growth hormone. With BFR, we've seen studies indicating that through about 10 to 15 minutes of BFR training, your HGH spike is 3 times as much as what it would be for you to go to the gym and work out. That is very substantial because we know when HGH goes up, so does testosterone levels. And we know testosterone, human growth hormone, all of this make us better athletes, make us better humans overall. These are things we have to use. HGH is your recovery hormone. Testosterone can be summed up as your strength training hormone. And also, kind of on the flip side, because it's hard to discuss these at the same time, BFR is making you so much more oxygen efficient because it has deoxygenated a limb, but you're still having to exercise, you're still working out. So therefore, your body's having to find ways to utilize the oxygen that it has. And training this over time is we see an improvement in the body's ability to use oxygen, and that is what VO2 max is. It's your body's ability to use oxygen. So BFR is making you a much more oxygen efficient machine. Since discovering BFR, I have made it a pillar in my rehab practice. In physical therapy, we use it on every patient that we are able to, and the results we have had are tremendous. It has helped rehab individuals who have failed doing traditional rehab methods. It has helped our athletes to do things that prior to BFR, they were entirely unable to do. It is truly a biohack. Aerobic athletes training with BFR show strength improvements when usually they only show a loss of strength. When you train aerobic activities, you normally get weaker, but when you train it with BFR, you somehow get stronger while you're still training your endurance and your aerobic events. That's wild. Comatose individuals who were given consistent BFR treatment showed no loss of brain size, whereas the individuals who were in a coma who did not receive BFR showed as much as a 12% decrease in the size of their brain. If we didn't have the research data, if we didn't have the meta-analysis and the systematic review showing this, I wouldn't believe it. I thought this was false when I first saw it, but we have really 30 plus years of really great quality research on BFR now that it's here, it's proven. This is a proven biohack that you can use. We have 2 other videos talking about blood flow restriction. We'll put a link to the one that gives you kind of the 101 of blood flow restriction and everything you need to know about it, so that you can use blood flow restriction training in your program and you can have these same benefits that we're seeing from everyone else. We'll put the link in the description below for that video and it'll pop up here as well. So is biohacking a legitimate field of study? Yes, although there are clearly some biohacking lies and some things that we really should stay away from. There are other biohacking methods, and we've talked about 2 of them in this video that we should really pay attention to and maybe implement into our own lives, into our own training. There is a training tool that we consistently use, but it's not a biohack. It's more of what we call a neurohack. We use it on every client or athlete we work with, especially when they are stronger on one side or favor one side over the other, or maybe one side is weaker than the other side. We talk about this neurohack in another video that we've made, and you can click on that video now. So until we see you next time, thanks for watching the Vulcan blog, and we'll see you in the next video.